So I just finished mixing down this piece, which is called Canticle. It's on Bandcamp, and I'll put the link to that. It's a piece in memory of my friend Lowry, my friend and mentor. I've talked about him a lot on this channel. Today, January 28th, it's been 6 years since he died, and I think about him often, but I particularly think about him on this day. I can feel his voice, his presence, and this isn't the first time I've written a piece of music at this time as kind of reflection and memory. He and I spent a lot of time talking about spirit and music and creativity. We worked on a bunch of really cool projects together. But I wanted to talk about this piece from a technical perspective because there's a couple of different voices going in, but one of them is this sort of drifting mobile where I have these two gestures that come up, and then they gradually move and in relationship to each other, so that the second one becomes the first, and then gradually it shifts back, and the first becomes the second. And that cycle is the backbone of this piece, and you can't always hear it. In fact, most of the time it's not in the forefront. It is right at the beginning, but quite soon these other waves of sound take over. I use the Soma Labs Cosmos, what they call the drift looper, and I've put a little clip with a clearer example that I'll mix in here in a second. But these were the kinds of things that Lowry and I loved about music. We loved gesture and space and abstract ideas made really embodied and concrete. The idea of time folding in on itself, of patterns that, if allowed to run, would sort of extend for an infinite amount of time. It's why we both loved Messiaen so much. And this piece is a wave of sound that has this structure at the core of it. So let me mix in the Cosmos example. So here I used my voice saying two different things. So it's really clear how it overlaps, and it's a short bit, but the whole cycle lasts, I think it takes about 90 seconds to totally rotate. In the piece here, it's a bit longer. It's still about 3 minutes, I think. And of course, you could extend that out so that the cycle is imperceptible, or at least audibly imperceptible. I tend to like it to be something that you can hear and be aware of. So here's the clip. First, I record this. And then I'm going to hit the stop record button. First, I record this. And then I'm going to hit the stop record button. First, I record this. And then I'm going to hit the stop record button. First, I record this. And then I'm going to hit the stop record button. First, I record this, and then I'm going to hit the stop record button. First, I record, and then I'm going to hit the stop record button. First, I record, and then I'm going to hit the stop record button. First, and then I'm going to record the stop record button. And then I'm going to hit the stop record button. This. And then I'm going to hit the stop record button. I record this. And then I'm going to hit the stop record button. First, I record this. And then I'm going to hit the stop record button. So you could see there, right? A and B. First I hit record, or first I say this, and then I hit record, and it right, like that. It's a really important gesture for me structurally. Everything I write really only has like 3 different ideas behind it. One is this idea of patterns that revolve. The other is what you can really call the bouncing ball. It's a rhythmic pattern. Boom, 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 and the bit can be controlled, so it either still has its rhythmic pattern to it, or shift it up a little bit so that actually sort of becomes amplitude modulation. So it becomes a pitch, and then breaks down back into the constituent rhythm, opens up, and then falls back in. I've always loved that gesture. When I got into eurorack, the first module I bought was the Make Noise Maths module, because you can create that bouncing ball, that gravitational effect using that module. But I've tried to notate it in scores. I've tried to be very precise, where, down to the hemi-demi semiquavers. It doesn't work very well. It's much better just to put the notes free form. There's usually some kind of repeated pattern, and then these other bits are happening in free form. So there's that. At the keyboard, I love the idea of out and in and soft and loud, or out and soft and then in and loud, just this juxtaposition of chords at a distance, really at the end of each end of the piano, and then back in, sort of noodling around, boom, 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 noodling around, boom, 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 or noodling around, or boom, 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 noodling around. That is in just about everything I write for the piano as an inception. How it survives the craft of writing, different, right? So bouncing ball, small and fast, or loud and quiet. What's the third one? Oh, I already said the third one. The third one is the mobile, right? So the mobile, the bouncing ball, and the in and out. Everything I write starts with one of those ideas. How it changes is very dependent on my ability to write it, to keep the idea pure. And for the most part, either some other tangent gets wrapped up, or I make a mistake and something different happens. That's true whether it's piano notated or whether it's eurorack, more sort of improvised. And this piece, this canticle, has all of that. There is an element of the bouncing ball in one of the gestures that's overlapping. Less of the in and out. That really is a very pianistic idea for me. So, check out Bandcamp. I'm reorganizing my stuff on Bandcamp so that I have fewer albums, more using an album more as a theme. So if you subscribe to the album, then periodically I add in new tracks, and you'll just get them. There's a book of hours where I keep sort of my liturgical pieces like this. There's a psychogeographic piece where I keep sort of field recordings, and then there's a third one called voices, because I often find myself working with samples of my voice or a poet's voice or a singer, and digging into qualities of the human voice. So it'd be great if you go ahead and sign up to my Bandcamp. And in the meantime, like and subscribe to this channel. And let me know what you think about the piece.